So originally I wasn't really going to make a video on this topic, but hello everyone, Cell here, and I'm going to be discussing over what just recently happened as far as Tekken 7 goes. So as everyone already knows, Book 1 Evo Japan, using Leroy, the people's champion at the time, Mikio, fell short. Of this, we also had 5 other Leroys in top 8. Of course, these Leroys did have subs, Bob and Steve, respectively. Other than that though, so we were given our patch notes for the 28th, which would also be the release date for the, what is it called now? The replay and tips, I think is what it is. So right here, looking at the patch notes, you can see that some characters did get adjusted. Yoshimitsu during Kincho's forward 2 has increased range. Leo forward 3 doesn't have a crouch status. So on and so forth. You can see Akuma got something adjusted, as well as Geese, where their down 4s don't have different properties from back turn, which I never noticed, but then again, I've never dealt with these characters while back turn. I've also never dealt with these characters doing down 4 in back turn. But anyways, these are just little tidbits. People were expecting some more. As you can clearly see, there's only a handful of characters, no one really major. But really, people could care about the other characters as less as we had Leroy here. So, first thing everyone goes to is Leroy. During Rage and after Twin Dragon Gate succeeds for 1+2 and all the way down to Pimp-King. I'm not going to go into details of all these because that's just going to make this video unnecessarily long. But what I will go into detail though is the minimal changes that were actually made. So, as we can see, 1, 2, 4, which is his 10 frame punish that puts him into Hermit. It said the timing for up or down during Hermit was faster than other moves by a frame. I don't really understand what this means, because I've never really done any of those buttons. Oh wait, no, that's for his side step. This is canceled, never mind. So evidently it comes out one frame faster than it's supposed to, I imagine. And then you have his Hermit forward 4, which damage was reduced, which I guess is alright, but it doesn't really help. Down forward 1, which was his probably best move in the neutral, -1, 13 frames, hits vertically, hits horizontally, hits low. And that one only got a damage reduction from 14 to 12. It didn't really get anything else as far as range. Down forward 3, the distance between the character and opponent when it hits while they're down has been increased. So if he hits you with down forward 3, you kind of slide forward. Down to 4, which one's down to 4? Oh, the move that everyone ends combos with for the extra damage. It's still delayable. Damage has been reduced to 11 instead of 17, which I guess is nice. Frame advantage on hit goes from 0 to -2, which is also pretty alright. That reminds me of Drag Down 2 back in Season 2. And then it changes some frame advantages -11 to -13, which makes it better to punish, or easier to punish, and it makes it punishable by twin pistons. Now we have down back 1-3. Yeah, 1-3. This move is actually one of his better tools because it high crushes. It is a 0 on block. It is a high, but it only got a damage reduction from 20 to 17. Down back 1+2. This is the mid option, but instead of being safe losing your turn at -9 on block, it is now -10. So which means it is punishable, and now you can actually hit it with your 10 frame punish since it doesn't decrease the distance. Back 3, which is one of his good moves, it kind of tracks on either side, went from 23 to 21. Next off we have up forward 4, or his orbital. Now this is a very big change that caught me off guard the most. It was from -3 to -8. Now the reason why this is actually big is because when it first released, it was -3. It started up as fast, if not faster, than Brian's orbital, if I remember correctly. I don't have the frame data exactly on the top of my head, but it was much safer than Brian's orbital. Brian's orbital's -5. Leroy's being at -3. He technically doesn't even lose his turn. He can actually still act. He can probably fish you out for something with back 1+2. Or anything else in that matter. You're still not safe. You can actually orbital into orbital if you wanted to, if you try to go for a cheeky low. But that's a different topic, or a different discussion rather. The next one is up forward 3+4, 1+2, which is his combo ender that most people tend to do, especially when they started learning him. To change the opponent's behavior when hit in mid-air. It doesn't really say anything else. That's really just about it. Now the other one, 4422, his 14 frame long range launcher had damage reduction from 20 to 15. I guess this is kind of alright, seeing as how you don't lose your entire health bar if you look at most of these moves anyways, but it didn't really change anything as far as it being minus 13 on block. Now another one of the big things that were actually changed here that caught me off guard here is Leroy's down forward 2+3, or the pimp cane, as we all know. So here's what it says. First hit is decrease the distance between the character and the opponent when the move is blocked. I mean, I guess. So it just keeps them closer. And then fix an issue in which it was not possible to perform Geese's mid-atemi throw. Wait. What? Huh. Anyways. And then second hit, fix an issue in which third hit could be blocked when countering. I don't understand that one too much, but we'll go with it. You're either blocking it or you're getting hit with it. I haven't really seen anything in between. And then same thing, it is not possible to perform Geese's throw, or his parry. And then the third hit, here's a big one. Change behavior when blocking the move. So I imagine you're not going to be forced on the ground standing back up, because that's already unfavorable as it is. And then change the frame advantage when blocked from +8 to -7. Now the fact that it had a 15 frame reduction is actually pretty, it makes the move somewhat balanced in the fact that you can only use it once per round and it does 1 billion damage as a launcher. Worse, you only just lose your turn, but I imagine that the distance won't be too far off. Depends on what the opponent behavior on block is. It really does depend on how the move will still be used and the behavior of it. Because if it still does that forced knockdown, which I kind of doubt, then we're not really going to be too much different outside of being not having to eat a mix-up afterwards. But while these adjustments are alright, that's just it. They're alright at best. I mean, yeah, Orbital's -8 and Pimp Cane's -7, sure, but that doesn't stop the fact that his frames are still a little too good than what they intend to be, what they should be, rather. Some of these moves need to have a little bit of a frame adjustment. I mean, Orbital -8, that's perfectly fine, I guess. I don't really mind too much. It kind of reminds me a bit of Josie's Butterfly Edge. But the main issue here is back 1+2 wasn't touched. It's still a 12 frame counter hit launcher. Down 1+2 hasn't been touched. That is a 0 on block force crouch counter hit launcher that you can technically do back 1+2 out of as well, or anything else really, because you're still at an advantage because of that force crouch. So because of this, it has caused a bit of an outcry amongst everyone in the Tekken community. There are people even tweeting, saying things that this wasn't a nerf, this isn't a balance patch, yada yada yada, etc, etc. And then you have even players saying that they're going to stop playing, they're going to drop the game, things of that nature, all because of Leroy. And then we all know how it went down at Evo Japan with Book's famous words for the audience of,
yeah, just pick Leroy, I think.
that. But because of this, it's really turning people away from the game, and it's making people want to drop it. In one of the discords that I'm a part of, we've kind of discussed that what we'll do if nothing really is fixed with this. And while those are all personal opinions that I'm not really going to get into, it really does sadden me that the state of the game is coming into this way. Now granted, these patch notes were dated back on Christmas Day of 2019, so there wasn't really too much there that they could have done within the time frame, because we didn't have Leroy for that long at that time. We had Kumite, Frosty Faustings, and recently Evo Japan. Those are the only 3 tournaments in which Leroy was present, and in that presence I didn't really see many at Kumite. I'm not even sure how many there were at Frosty, but I wasn't really paying attention to stream or to other tournament matches at that time. And then Evo Japan had a plethora of Leroys, to which many of the top players, Nee, Chanel, Arslan Ash, all lost to Leroy. And the people that were playing Leroy, like Book, were succeeding. And while that did make for a good story as far as having a villain that everyone rooted against, at having 6 of the same character in top 8 doesn't really show that a strong balance in the game. It shows a power creep. The fact that Leroy was this strong, the fact that he was dominant as far as character usage, is completely asinine. Now, Murray did tweet after all this fire has started spreading, stating that they are working on making a balance patch here sometime soon. Granted, they originally wanted to do it for whenever Fakum Ram would be released, but that doesn't really that wouldn't really be enough time for anything, honestly, if they're rushing it out like this. But they are trying to quell everyone's dismay right now. So if they release it during Fakum Ram, then we just have to live with another 2 months, 3 months, I don't remember when he's releasing, of Leroy. So doing it this way, we'll be able to get a proper balance patch, or at least a semi-balance patch, into which a lot of these other moves of Leroy will get fixed. So it's not all gloom and doom at this current moment. Yeah, we do have to live with the way Leroy is right now. He's not going to blow you up immediately in a combo, but that still doesn't really help a lot. Granted, we still got to live with a full tracking hell sweep. We still have to live with his 12 frame counter hit launcher and a few other moves. But right now, we can only just hope and see what they bring to us in the next coming weeks. I'm not sure when exactly this will be, whenever Leroy or whenever the Tekken developers release the next balance patch, but we can only hope some changes are made to Leroy, as well as if some changes can be made to other characters to where they can keep up with the power creep that has befallen this game. Hopefully we can go back to that balanced status that Tekken 7 was known and loved for back during Season 2 and Season 1. Although I will exclude Dragunov and Jack for that good bit of the time, and maybe Geese. But for now, I think that's going to be all that I have in this video. So right now, we got to stay strong and we have to hold it out. Hold it out until the next balance patch, or semi-balance patch. I'm not sure how it's going to play out exactly. But if we can hold out until then we can finally see how the Tekken developers see how well they are listening to us as a community. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for checking me out. And as always, have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful time. GG's, and don't be free. See ya.